Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we look at these stories. Anambra State. PDP suspends Ezewafo for anti-party activities. Still on PDP crisis, court halts convention over Lamido's suit. Ohabonwa blames crisis on greed, disobedience. On terrorism, presidency reaffirms Tinubu's resolve to end insecurity. On politics, Dixon Amechi won against election rigging ahead of 2027. On an alleged genocide, Nigeria not doing enough to stop killings, U.S. lawmaker says. We're open for sponsorship of the program, advert placements, news, events coverage, and commercials. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Avo TV, Niger TV, and Efastech TV platform. You can connect with us on our ATN socials by subscribing, like, and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. And on X, Atlantic TV Net. We're going to a short break, and when we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of God.
Because access to our money will put in the bank.
She said $3,000 is 1,000 to collect $3,000. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the
POS operator. She said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which are you.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the daunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Chizi Nyomasila. Chizi Nyomasila is the leader ICU Group and he's also a regular on Open Conversation. Good morning, Chizi, and welcome.
Thank you, Larissa. And Mr. Chairman, I think I now know that very well.
All right.
My Nigerians, good morning.
I also have with me Daniel Momo, a regular on Open Conversation and also a political analyst. Daniel, it's a pleasure having you on Open Conversation after such a long time.
I thought I was there, but you were not around.
It's been a while. For me.
Yeah.
For me, I've not seen you in a while.
Good morning and good morning, Nigerians.
And on to the story. People's Democratic Party in Anambra State has suspended its governorship candidate in last Saturday's election, Mr. Jude Ezenwafo, over alleged sabotage and gross misconduct. The decision, announced after the State Executive Committee meeting in Awka, takes immediate effect and will last for 1 month, pending further investigation by the party's disciplinary committee. State Chairman Mr. Chidi Chidiebe said Ezenwafo's suspension followed his refusal to campaign, collusion with rival parties, and establishment of a parallel gang of impostors to interfere with party activities. He described the candidate's behavior as destructive to the collective interest of the PDP, adding that his claim of an assassination attempt and extortion was fabricated to mislead members. Chidebe noted that Ezenwafo's poor performance, garnering just 1 vote in his own word, was a reflection of his lack of commitment and credibility. The PDP vowed to uphold internal discipline and reposition the party under the leadership of Acting National Chairman Ambassador Omar Damagum. Efforts to reach Ezenwafo for comments were unsuccessful. I will start with you on this one, Daniel. What do you make of this story?
Yes, first, let me just correct something. I don't think Damagu is acting.
He's a factional.
He was confirmed.
He was confirmed as
one of the meetings
chairman.
where they confirmed him as a substantive chairman. First,
right.
I think PDP has lost its soul, unfortunately. A very vibrant party, a party where brilliant minds dwell then. If you could take your mind back a bit, there was no one who was willing to buy the PDP from the Anambra State at a point. Nobody. No one was available to buy that form. It was that bad. And fortunately, he came along. And in an election, the party owns election. It is not the individual. If you remember what this man said about the Bauchi State Governor, the former Speaker of the House of Representatives from Bauchi State, what's his name now? The Christian guy. I will remember his name in the course of the conversation. That said he came to River State and Wike paid and gave them money and also used a private jet to ferry them back to Abuja, was that in an election, in preparation for an election, it is not on record that PDP, usually they organize and see how to raise money. But the individual must first bring something to the table and say, this is what I have. And to complement it, that never happened in Anambra State. There was never anywhere where funds were tried to raise, whether from the national level or at the state level, to run that election. So it was just a one-man show for the young man. And I have always said this. See, before you suspend somebody, yes, it's a political party. Why don't you, for fair hearing, sake of fair hearing, if you have any allegation against him, call him to the table, set up a committee or set up anything, and let him come to answer to those things why you would suspend him. That has happened in River State here before. It happened in some other states. I do not like the idea where you suspend people and then say you give them a time of 1 month to resume. Are you saying that the offense allegedly committed by 1 month will not happen to that? Oh, you suspend him, then you want to investigate. Why not investigate before suspending? So I think that unfortunately, this is what the PDP faced, and even at the national level. It's a party that his soul is gone. His soul is gone. So what you see is just people trying to catch up. But unfortunately, PDP never prepared for that election. And so they would never have won. But the idea that someone lost his polling unit is not a criteria, part of what you can suspend anybody. The president lost Lagos. But why did APC not suspend him? Peter Obi lost his polling unit to the opposition. So why is he not being queried? To now say that, for example, a Labour Party that we thought would be a contention in that election came a distant fourth with 10,000, about 500. Why are they not quarreling? So I think when something like this happens, it is for us to reflect as a political party to say what has gone wrong. This is where we got it wrong, and then have a report of this election, submit to the national, let the states have their own copy, instead of just rushing to say that you're going to suspend the young man.
All right, so in your opinion, his suspension was unfair?
It's unfair.
All right.
If you do not call anybody to the table to say, Daniel, this is what ABCD infractions that you have done, and on that basis, you give me the opportunity to respond to them if they're actually genuine. But you cannot say you suspend somebody, and then on the basis of suspension, you are now investigating. That is from answer to question.
All right, very well. Chizi, what is your take on this story?
Well, I align with him completely, except that that is not peculiar to PDP. You know, it's been a Nigerian thing, you know, especially in the political parties. The political parties can just wake up one day and then suspend somebody without giving that person. It's like finding somebody guilty before hearing from the person. It's like sending somebody to prison and then say, come and defend yourself after having sent him to prison on an offense that is supposedly alleged. Because all of those offenses can be alleged. You can't find facts until you have cross-examined the person, you know. And he just mentioned certain examples, you know, if you begin to talk about, yes, in politics, each time you find that if you are a political gladiator, people will want to look at your unit. No wonder we are all telling our politicians to start from your root. You know, politicians, there are so many politicians that are state politicians, national politicians, but if you get to their word, they are nobody. And if each time you begin to see that a politician fails in his unit or in his word, just find out something. That politician is not liked by his people. And so it looks like there are things that we do not know about that politician that he's just flying about. Obasanjo failed in the Southwest. You don't understand. In 1999, Obasanjo lost completely in the Southwest. I'm not talking about even his own, in the whole Southwest. And of course, the vice president of then the candidate, the vice president of Goodluck Jonathan failed in his unit, even when he was a former governor, you know. And some of us have said, go and start from your, it's a lesson to learn. But again, for the PDP, they have clearly told us that those who want to even run an election, you know, subsequently should, because you see the difference between the major political parties and these other political parties is that in the other political parties, you see individual taking lead of everything, you know, but in the major political party, you will see that even the national executive will form a committee to come campaign. Even in the election, you will see all of them come to pay, even though they do not have voting right there, but they will come and give you moral support, and that moral support goes a long way, you know, to helping the candidate. But again, like he has mentioned, what I also want to find out, you see, what the PDP, right now, you can't clearly say who is working for APC in the PDP or who is not working for the APC. Because even those who are accused, they may be working for the PDP to just say, please, you know, if you suspend somebody after election, you weaken the person because you are saying you are not giving him the political machinery to even approach the court because he may not have the documents and data. And do you know what? 1 month is 21 days after election. That means he
cannot challenge the outcome
So
of that
it looks
election.
to me, I'm suspecting that other camp, they are also working against the
if they are the ones actually doing
anti-party.
Anti-party, yes, that's what I'm saying.
I'm working for ABGA.
I'm working for ABGA in that local government, because what you have just done, when you suspend somebody, you know, let me tell you, yes, ABGA has been there for a very long time, but what you cannot take away from PDP is that PDP, especially in the southeast and the south, PDP is traditionally theirs. So it's pretty difficult to get PDP to go far back to fourth position.
They got 1,401 votes.
It's difficult. So when
that's the first.
Yes. So when you begin to see a thing like that, it looks like there has some compromise, maybe from his own side. But why would you now? Why don't you just wait? This election just happened. Why? So when did you not gather your facts and all of that, and all of that to begin to suspend him immediately?
Or do you think that the party in Anambra State are merely being reactionary out of the disappointment of the low votes that they got? Do you think, or don't you think that they are only being reactionary by suspending Ezenwafo? And just like Daniel Momo mentioned, why put the entire burden of campaign on the Guba candidate? What happened to the input of the party in ensuring that, they campaign and they win elections?
Yes, I have said, even the word reactionary is an understatement, because if you have to even react, it has to be even against the political party that won the election. That's what the party should be talking about now. Why?
Not the candidate.
And again, people are not diplomatic in taking actions. There are actions that you take, you weaken the party more. You will weaken the party, assuming without considering that those 1,000 something, vote that was voted was just from him. It looks almost like that, because all of these persons who are saying that he didn't do this or that means also that they didn't deliver on their units. Because if they did, that vote wouldn't be like that. You can't. Then imagine if we have, say, 200 and something wards in Anambra State, and then they get just 100 in each of the ward, which is very low. At least he would have made like 2,000 something votes. To say 1,000, is that from one local government or something? So something is fishy. It looks like all of these compromises, and the big guys, those who can manipulate system, can manipulate you on two fronts, looking at the candidate and even the other persons to further kill the party.
Right.
So but for me, I think the party should, how do I use that word? Should recover itself.
All right. Very well.
No, sorry, there was something I wanted to say. It was Yakubu Dogara from Bauchi State.
Oh, you're this former speaker?
Yes, the former speaker of the House of Representatives, who accused Bala Mohammed, because the promise was that Bala Mohammed had enough financial war chest to muzzle that election. He said when they now requested to see, he didn't have it, and then they had to approach the then governor of Rivers State. So the name I was looking for was Yakubu Dogara.
All right, very well. And then moving on, tensions flared on Monday when the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, stormed Plot 1946 in Gaduwa District, Abuja, to confront soldiers allegedly occupying the land linked to former Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Owal Zubairu Gambo, retired. Wike expressed outrage that armed soldiers had earlier chased away FCT officials, enforcing a stop work order on the disputed property. The minister, who was denied entry into the site by soldiers, said the developers lacked valid documents or legal approvals. He condemned what he described as an act of intimidation, warning that no one, regardless of past office, was above the law. We cannot allow lawlessness to prevail in the FCT, Wike said, stressing that the use of military personnel to obstruct government enforcement was unacceptable. Wike disclosed that he had contacted the Chief of Defense Staff and the Chief of Naval Staff, who promised to resolve the issue amicably. Reaffirming his stance against illegality, the minister vowed to apply the same enforcement standards across Abuja. The FCT administration has recently intensified its crackdown on land racketeering and unauthorized developments in the capital. I will start with you, Chizi, on this one. What is your take on this story?
You know, when you watch that,
the video
clip, you will find a very unfortunate situation. First is the fact that the FCT, there is a law governing the FCT. Of course, that's the same law governing Nigeria. Is the Land Use Act gives land to the government, whether you are the president or whosoever you are, meaning that if they have chased away FCT officials using the army, that's cool for me. And so, but my issue here is that the FCT minister would have applied restraint. And I tell you why. If they had chased the people you sent to decide, it means they've chased you. I will take the other legal action. I will call the people, to order and allow law prevail. I wouldn't go there personally to begin to, have exchange banters with a soldier, an officer, whoever. Because he said it's from order from above. Now we need to get to the root of the orders from above. Because even that, those people who gave the order and the ones who carried out that order, then they need to be sacked from the army. Because the FCT minister, of course, is representing the president. Of course, whether you like it or yes, he's representing the president, and you carry certain level of office. And there are certain level of office you occupy that you wouldn't go physical. You don't go compact. You have to call these people to order because you are not at their level. The level of that. This thing. You have said this thing and the army chased them. Then you call the chief of naval staff and defense staff before you go in there. They will have to be the one to take action and remove those people, because even though you are going to do, it's a civil matter, and that civil matter is supposed to be approached by police, not the army at all, not the soldiers. So if the soldiers have gone, it means they have gone, they have gone beyond their
call of duty.
And so they should be called to order, and then they should. But I wouldn't go there, to begin to the video clip, except it's AI manipulated. But if that video clip was not good for my site, and I didn't like that.
All right, very well. Daniel, what is your take on this story?
Yes, let me start from where he stopped. I think that there is a saying that said, the man dies in the face of oppression if he didn't see anything. If the FCT minister has sent people out on legal duty and they are stopped from carrying out a legal obligation, legal duty, it is equally right for a minister to visit and see who actually would stop the authority from carrying out its legal duty. Now, having said that, I think let's establish some things. Probably maybe because of Wiki as a person. Let's remove him and use the word the FCT minister. Because anyone could be an FCT minister. An El Rufai, who was once an FCT minister, can't walk to that place and somebody stops him. He will just go back home. He should not be a serving minister. Remember that the commander-in-chief, who happened to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in his front, Wike took an oath, standing looking at the commander-in-chief, took an oath to serve, and the president delegated his power. He's the commander-in-chief. He delegated his power, and Wike became the minister of the FCT. In other words, every landed issue in Abuja is vested in the minister. The minister can revoke a land. He has power to so do. The minister can approve. And the minister can also redesign and change how a place should be. And having known this, because the story said a disputed land. In other words, there's already a comma on that land. And from the video, and if you see that video, you would appreciate what the FCT minister did yesterday. If not, there would have been a fisticuff between security agencies. You will see where he was hitting the head of his security team, when that one was telling the soldier that you are unprofessional. And you would also see one other one who wore black, holding a gun, that was pushing that soldier, and he told that one to shift back. Then you must appreciate the restraint he tried to make that make. As an FCT minister, always that's why we cry about our leaders who sit in the office. Go to the field and also see what people witness, what some of us witness soldiers had done to us on roads. And then you tell us what order from above? From the president? Which order? And you would note that even at that point, the FCT minister called the chief of defense staff. And the FCT minister gave his phone to the soldier. And all the soldier was doing was saying, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. There was one language he used to his boys there. And so the point is, that officer who was there, who is being paid with taxpayers' money, was on a legal duty there. Was the minister?
Was the soldier on
that officer?
Yes, it was a illegal duty.
It's an illegal duty.
It's
an illegal duty. It is illegal for him to be there. He was never assigned to go and guide a plot of land. For a land that is disputed, you stay there so that building can go. So I think that it's unfortunate what played out yesterday. Yes, I understand that the minister would have restrained himself. In all honesty, we all have this different way of our approach to life. You as an individual, my probably maybe state of maturity, I just walk away. Not everybody, not everyone who will walk away in the face of oppression. Okay, let all of us employ soldiers and employ police. Same way this happened during the election in Ekiti State under Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. The man who carries immunity from River State, the River State governor, and some other governors were stopped from entering Ekiti by soldiers on the order from above. What kind of order? In Lagos State, a police officer stopped the governor from going somewhere because of order from above. What kind of order? So I wait to even see the reaction of the commander-in-chief, whose power is also vested in the FCT minister to carry out what he has done. But unfortunately, that was never a training. I went to NMS. Before I came out, I had an accident. I left NMS. This was never training. To go and guide land. What land are you guiding? When we have people dying in Sambisa, dying everywhere.
The job of the Nigerian military is to protect our territorial integrity, correct?
Yes, even that guy is a naval, not even a military. He's a naval. Yes, he's a naval officer.
So you should be protecting the
He should never have been there that yesterday. That's the unfortunate thing for us as a country. Not even to the military board. What is he doing there at that time? And see, you can expand the argument to say, oh, some people came. Oh, probably you don't know them. You didn't allow them. You can't tell me that you don't know the FCT minister to have allowed him access into that place. You won't say you don't know the FCT minister, and the FCT minister is not working for himself. He has people he report to, which is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But unfortunately, there is the big man syndrome in Nigeria that we all say is an order from above. Even when the defense, remember the CDS spoke to that board, they never left that place. So I wait to even see what would happen, what would be the reaction. Yes, we can hate Wike for all we like. We can hate him for, but the truth is that what happened yesterday shouldn't have happened if that officer or somebody backing him is not giving him a go-ahead, which is unfortunate.
Now, interestingly, Daniel Momo brought an interesting perspective, and that is questioning the business of the soldier or the naval officer in that place, considering that is not his point of call, that is not where his duty post is supposed to be. And that also brings to mind the illegal postings of both police officers, military personnel, and all of that. And, you know, Nigerians in this conversation, while it was trending, nobody is looking at this perspective. Yeah, sure. Is this where that soldier and those soldiers were at that point in time? Was it a legal posting, Was it a legal posting?
You know, it couldn't have been a legal posting. And I had to find out that he was given that order by
a retired naval
chief. I mean, that again is
retired.
How?
Underscore.
Meaning that you know what that means. That means that the chief of naval staff here now can also go there, and this guy will not allow the chief of naval staff to enter because the retired general gave him order. Because a retired general. The only thing I say is, you see, when Daniel was talking about it, I understand that energy. Firstly, if Wike has sworn an oath to represent the president, of course that's what it means. It means that the person who went there to meet the person is the highest person that should give an order to any security person, and that is the chief, the commander-in-chief of the federal government, and that's what the FCT went there to represent. Because the person who went there is not just Wike, is the FCT minister. And not just the FCT minister, is the president that went there as commander-in-chief. So which order would he have taken other than that order? But there is something I want to find out here, which is why I said Wike should have withdrawn. You know why I wanted Wike to withdraw? You see, you fight being alive. For such, that man, that officer, to stand before the FCT minister and say order from above, it means there is something fishing that's bigger than this. It means there is something fishing that's not just about this. That for me is like
this is a pointer to a more deeper issue that has not manifested yet.
Deeper issue. Let me tell you, in each of the military arms, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, they do have the military police. You know what the military police does? Theirs is to arrest the military in case of this kind
airing
of
officers.
Airing officers. And so if the CDS has called him and he said, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, order from above, and then spoke to his boss and never left there immediately, because as soon as he gets the phone call of the military of the CDS, his was to say, yeah, more sir, and then leave immediately, because there couldn't have been a better order. There couldn't have been a better order. So there must be something else. No wonder I said, let him be alive first. Because there are more things to this thing than meets the eye.
Because the question will be the audacity.
The audacity. And that is just recently, after we have had some cool news or that. Something is fishing. Maybe that officer was sent to kill Wike. So I'm protecting my brother. Maybe.
Don't you think that's an extreme conspiracy?
No. See, let me tell you. In law, I may not be a lawyer, but in law, if you put a property in a land that you do not own, that property is dead. It's looked as rubbish. It can be packed away. That means it never existed, because you can't put something on nothing. So the soldier being there in the first instance, like I said, it was supposed to be the job of the police to even be there if there is dispute. It's not the place of the and then to make the matters worse, a naval officer that is even not close to any water. Where is he coming from? Which water is this? So it looks like he is there. They have told him, go there, and in case the FCT minister comes, shoot him. I'm telling you the truth. That's why some of us will say, no, please, if they have done that and you have gone there to look at that, nobody can, if there's nothing going on there, no general, I'm talking about the chief of army staff, cannot be in a place and see the FCT minister. Let me tell you what you don't know. The chief of army staff will salute the FCT minister. Do you know that?
Now, the thing here is that whatever conversation that went on between the chief of army staff and the military personnel, we didn't hear it.
No, it was the CDS.
CDS.
It was the CDS.
Yeah, chief of defense staff.
Wike called and he spoke to him about his frustration of what was happening. And probably maybe he said, give the officer the phone. And Wike gave the officer the phone. And all we heard the guy was saying was, yes sir. He was not saying, and I expected, even at that point, access was not granted to the FCT minister. Now, let's note something here so that we're clear. Keyamo went to court sometime during the Buhari's, was it before Buhari? No, during the Buhari's regime, that a soldier cannot be made a chief of staff, in our staff, without the confirmation of the legislature. And the legislature is the symbol of democracy, which is that the authority, in other words, all military functions are subject to civil authority. So like he was saying, what authority was greater in the FCT? Even the president referred to Wike as my landlord.
Landlord, yes.
Wike has what we call the commissioner of police in Abuja. Even though you have the IG in Abuja, there's also the commissioner of police that reports to Wike in Abuja. And they do security meeting. If Wike needed to escalate anything like every other governor would do, he will meet with the IG. So which other authority is greater in Abuja? Because Abuja now is just that geographical region. If you talk of Nigeria, you talk of the president. If you talk of River State, you talk of the governor. So which authority was bigger than Wike in Abuja? That we would now, a soldier would now say that there is an order for him not to grant access
to the FCT minister.
I read a lot of things and I laugh. Why? Probably maybe he's kind of person. We do not like him. A lot of things. But the truth is that we should be committed to the truth always. We should be committed to the rule of law always. Right. Wike was denied access to a property that he wanted to pay a visit to legally. And
mind you, we have forgotten that it's important to note that Wike stated that they chased away, the soldiers had chased away FCT
he got that report
enforcing a stop work order. So the soldiers in the first place chased out officials who went on official duty on that property. So I think we also did not bring that into perspective.
No, we used the word disputed.
Okay.
It was a disputed...
Right, very well. So apart from the legality or illegality of the soldiers at on that property at that material time, we are also looking at the illegality of chasing away government officials on official duty in that land.
And when you are on illegal duty.
While you are on
illegal duty, you have chasing away people who came on. You see, Daniel brought a person here. You know, there is something about Nigerian. You know, especially now that we are heading to 2027. You know, there is a name that when you hear, you will not say whatever he does is backed. Whether you, because you don't like him. You know, we are very emotional. We argue from that emotional point of view that this man, and I'm beginning to think that is why Wike always wins them. You know, Wike is a very smart politician. Wike is a very smart politician. You know, you can do that and you will see Wike is, like what he said, when the CDS spoke with that guy, and of course spoke with Wike again, Wike left the place. Maybe the CDS would have said, move, leave there. And Wike left the place. We should have also seen that guy move out of that place immediately. Because the CDS. So we should also ask the CDS, what did you tell the guy? Stay there.
While you tell the FCT minister to leave. What
did you tell the guy?
That's because the question. We didn't hear the conversation.
Yes, we didn't hear the conversation, but we knew that Wike acted on that. Wike left. And so what did the guy do?
While the soldiers stayed behind.
Doing what? Now let me tell you, there's nothing like legal or illegal land when the FCT minister is saying this. You can actually go to court to obtain it. But the land is owned by government. Government can decide. What you should even be asking is compensation. You know, whether government is going to compensate you. Assuming in this studio now, government wants to use this place. What you should be asking for is time to allow you to stay and then move out and compensation. Not that government cannot take this place. Government can declare this place as public toilet. Because that's the land, that's the law. And so Wike is there doing all of that. That's why I will still want to bring out that issue. Please, Mr. President, check the security. Something is happening. Something is fishing. Because that guy couldn't have that impetus. And especially to the person of Wike, even not being an FCT minister. No. That guy wouldn't do that. That guy wouldn't do that. And if you notice, Wike was shouting I was already a local government chairman before you were born. And of course, you know, that kind of when we were in primary school. And so he can't do that. So he's been a chief security officer like that. It's not only the police that we can meet at the Security Council of the FCT. Even the Army, Navy, Air Force, they will be there. And of course, you know that Wike, as the FCT military, is a landlord of all of those security things. So you don't do that. So there must be something, I think, that they should...
There is more to it. More to this that meets the eye.
More to that.
All right.
That a man will stand before a serving minister and before a president and will be saying, I have a higher order. Order from where? From a retired chief of naval staff?
All right, very well. Very well. Moving forward, Federal High Court in Abuja has restrained the People's Democratic Party from holding its planned national convention scheduled for November 15 and 16 in Oyo State. Justice Peter Lefo granted the interim order on Tuesday following an ex parte application by former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido, who is challenging his exclusion from contesting the party's national chairmanship. The judge also barred the Independent National Electoral Commission from monitoring or recognizing the convention's outcome pending the determination of the substantive suits. Justice Lefo ruled that Lamido's application was meritorious, adding that allowing the PDP to proceed with the event could cause the applicant irreparable harm. He referenced an earlier judgment by Justice James Omotosho delivered on August 31st, which had similarly restrained the PDP from conducting the convention. The court held that it was in the interest of justice to maintain the status quo until the case is fully heard and decided. Lamido, through his counsel, Jeff Njikoye, SAN, argued that the PDP would be violating its constitution and denying him his right to contest if the convention went ahead. The judge had earlier ordered the PDP and INEC to show cause while the reliefs should not be granted, after which both parties filed their responses. The matter was stood down until 1 p.m. for the hearing of the substantive suits. Chizi, what do you make of this story?
It's what we're saying. PDP is battered. Sule Lamido, let me say it there. You know, the problem in PDP is that you do not also know who is working for who. That's just it. Sule Lamido, if you had zoned the party chairmanship to the north, and then Sule Lamido has the constitutional right to sue context, why are you denying him the opportunity to buy form? Why are you saying he shouldn't? At least he came after the deadline. Because this thing is, if there's, of course there's a deadline. If you publish your convention timetable, and then you have stipulated a deadline, and you know when this guy came, not coming after the deadline because you have frustrated him from taking the form, you know, why trying to secure it, and then after the deadline, you now said he came after the deadline. That's manipulative. So if you do that, the guy can prove to the court that he was there before the deadline, and then you stopped him from taking that form. And if that guy can prove it, then the court can so do. But you see, there are so many courts, judgments and orders around this PDP convention. The question is, why are PDP working against themselves? That's the question I'd like to ask. I am tired of discussing PDP affairs because the PDP is working. That's a party that has not changed its logo since 1998. And that's a party that should be traditional to Nigerians. That is the party that we should see that can deal with itself internally. But all of a sudden, you see names going to court. This one is there, the other one is there. You know, this one does not want to support the other person, the other one does not want to support the other person. If you have arranged your house and Sule Lamido takes form to become PDP chairman, he can lose at the convention. That is if as Sule Lamido, he actually came to collect the form. But you know, it was also Sule Lamido who said openly that PDP will lose, and then he will be working for another person, and then while Sule Lamido was going to be working for ADC while in PDP, and then he wants to now take the national party chairmanship of the same PDP that he wants. That's enough to to either screen him out, we would have been talking about screening for his utterances and those kinds, because you can't say that and now come to collect from. If I have said I'm going to work for another political party and I'm coming to contest, that's enough to screen me out. So we would have been talking about at the point of screening that he was screened out.
After he has bought the form.
After he has bought the form. But going to buy the form.
And then he goes to court, it will be, the court will rule it as internal party affairs.
Internal party affairs. So, but I think the PDP, for me, it looks like the PDP just wanted to do something until after 2027.
All right. Very well. Daniel, what is your take on the PDP issue?
For us who are from River State, it's the whole thing look familiar. We are used to this kind of court judgment. Those of us who live, do business here in River State. And the names are familiar. Justice Amotosho, Justice Lifu, they are all familiar. Except for the other judge.
Justice Akintola for your State High Court.
Except for that, who is in the State High Court. Same way we have federal and State High Courts here. And we are condemned such, especially courts of coordinate jurisdictions. A substantive judgment was given. Then an order came from
a State High
Ibadan.
Court.
How? Remember also that this same person who gave that order was once suspended by the NJC.
And now there's another petition against him before the NJC.
This governor appointed this same person back, I think in 2023 or so. So those of us in River State are used to it. Now, to the real issue, for the fact that you zoned an office to a particular place doesn't mean it excludes every other person who wants to participate. Their constitutional right to so do in an association that they belong. In 1999, the PDP zoned its presidency to the Southwest. Rimi bought form and contested that election.
Of course, yes.
I mean, contested that primaries and lost to Obasanjo. It was clear, we all saw it. Lamido, though, zoned to the Northwest, which Lamido also belongs to. But the governors from the Southwest, I mean, the Northwest and others came and said, this office will go to a particular person. They endorsed the candidate. We saw Lamido went to the National Secretariat and went to the Secretariat coordinated by the Secretary. What's his name? Ayahu. And went to Ayahu that he wants to buy the form. Ayahu said he also has not seen the form. The Secretary of PDP said he has not seen the form. We all watch it on the screen. You can't deny him that right. And allowing him to buy form gives the party more money. So why are you even denying the party itself funds?
So why wouldn't the secretary see the form?
He said he didn't see any form.
Who is the custodian of party documents?
It is the secretary.
So why?
He is the head that coordinates the administrative. But he said it was open. That he himself didn't see any form. And they addressed the media. I think that wise counsel never prevailed. It was a small thing. Give him the form, let him fill the form, go through screening, and then the man went to court. And Justice Peter said he gave the other party, he went to form on the 31st, let's not forget, on the 31st of October. And the judge said he gave 72 hours to INEC and the PDP on why he should not give an order.
He should not grant the order
stopping this convention. And both could not present a credible thing before the judge.
But they answered.
That answer was not enough. That's the meaning. What you gave was not enough for us to look at the records. He is saying that, look, if you allow this convention on Saturday, I was not allowed to buy that form. I would have been cheated out of the process. And so, hold on until we determine this issue. So that's why I said, wise counsel never prevailed. What cost you to have? You should have, as a party, be ready to sell from even to 100 people. You would make money to run your affairs. So where did they get money to run the secretariat? So Unfortunately, like I said, White Council didn't prevail. They allowed this issue, and this is where they are today. Now, other people also went to court again to say and report this judge in Ibadan. The judge in Ibadan would also see today, don't forget, see today to see that other parties should come and give reason why that order should not stay. So all kinds of things.
But in the first instance, if you're saying he's going to sit today,
no, I'm only just saying that. I'm not saying.
Why would he sit over a matter?
No. I'm not justifying that. That's why I use the first word. That those of us who come from River State understand.
You're of conflicting judgments.
We know this thing, but unfortunately, sir, is that the Rivers case, the Chief Justice, current, intervened and call all these judges together and call them to order. Still, the same thing is repeating itself in Ibadan. So unfortunately, let's see how it goes. But it does not show, like he said, we can't tell now who is working because Diri was part of the chairman of the convention,
the zoning committee,
to PDP, and now he has resigned. Kefas will declare next week. What then is the issue? So it's a party that has lost its own soul in search of where, but most of them there also. I was listening to one of them in one of your sister stations from Abuja, and there is no remorse in what they are saying. And I'm wondering, have you all sat down and think of the harm you are causing to yourself? A federal high court cannot give an order. The judge in Ibadan or the court in Ibadan is not an appellate court. So why are you all going there to take judgment from that same person? Why don't you go to the court above? So unfortunately, no one to give a wise counsel to the PDP, unfortunately, and this is where they are.
All right, very well. Lawmaker, United States Congressman Bill Huizenga has accused the Nigerian government of failing to act decisively against the continued killings of Christians, urging Washington to impose targeted economic sanctions rather than consider military action. Speaking in an interview, Huizenga, one of the lawmakers supporting Donald Trump's push to redesignate Nigeria as a country of particular concern, said he was alarmed by Trump's invasion remarks, but insisted that allegations of religious persecution demand urgent attention. Huizenga warned that Nigeria risks repeating the horrors of Rwanda and South Sudan if decisive measures were not taken. He recounted testimonies from victims of Fulani militant and Islamist attacks, saying both Christians and moderate Muslims were under threat. The congressman dismissed the idea of a U.S. military response, emphasizing instead that economic sanctions on individuals and group funding violence would yield better results. He also faulted the Nigerian government's dismissive approach, accusing it of downplaying the severity of the crisis. According to him, insecurity is crippling Nigeria's economy and deterring foreign investors. Huizenga disclosed that growing frustration among U.S. lawmakers has led to new congressional resolutions aimed at holding Nigeria accountable to prevent further atrocities. Daniel, what is your take on this story?
Unfortunately, this is sovereignty supervising sovereignty. Like Fela would say, there is nothing united in the United Nations. I weep for my country that one man who was elected the same way a senator from where I live was elected, and thinks that his own sovereignty can supervise my sovereignty. Not just because of anything, because he possesses rather a stronger and more powerful leather weapons. Having said that, I think sometimes there is a proverb in my place that says, when a married man refuses to coordinate his house, he might get an advice from a bachelor. It's unfortunate what has happened in Nigeria over the years. that is taking the foreign body for us to begin to realize what harm we are doing to ourselves. We had normalized killings in Nigeria. It doesn't move anybody. If you put your head and you allow yourself to be killed, now you sabi, it has gotten to that stage. It has gotten to the stage where those days traveling by road used to be very interesting. Today, when you want to travel by road, you think and think and think and think, so that you will not put yourself in a situation where, if probably you are kidnapped or something, it demands your family to see how to rescue you. The records are mind-boggling. Yes, we have failed because the number one duty of any government is the protection of lives and property. That's the number one. Every other thing is secondary. But the idea that my destiny rather, should be decided in Washington, I disagree. I'm not a bootlicking person. I don't worship government. But I also appreciate my kind of government that we have here in Nigeria and Africa. And some of us are a bit worried, not because we do not need help, but because our help that we get from them are conditioned. They are not open help, like, not because we're thinking they want to. You can check Ukraine, see what happened. They give Ukraine weapon. It is to defend itself. It is not to fight against Russia. It took, towards the end of the term of, what's his name, Biden,
okay,
that Ukraine was given the authority to shoot into
Russia
before it was just to defend yourself. The weapons given to the Nigerian government, even bought, not free, there are conditions attached to those weapons and where you would use those weapons. If you buy weapons to be used in the Northeast, it should never find its way, even if there are crises in South. So what if these criminals moved from the Northeast? What would now happen? So that's why some of us are saying, look, it's only weapons that we get from France. We had gone to as far as Pakistan, Nigerian government, to get weapons. And then, like Fela said, what the vote of one person in the United Nations override 100 people. Somebody will veto. We had to take weapons from Turkey, and it was vetoed. And we couldn't get those weapons. Yes, the crisis in Nigeria, for some of us who had experienced both religion, can speak extensively on certain issues. I was born as a Muslim. I grew up as a Muslim. My parents Christians before I converted to a Christian. I would not know if I use the word genocide because I was born in the north. But I would agree if you say there are persecutions of Christians. Yes. If somebody wakes up and wipe an entire community, men, women, pregnant, old, child, wipe them off, what do you call that? And the unfortunate thing was that the president went to Benue and did not visit that community because he said there was bad road.
Yeah, water.
Yes. The president didn't go there because there was bad road.
But he was in the state.
Yes, he was in the state. You would see these data flying and ask yourself, where are these data coming from that the US senators are using to take all these decisions they are taking? I saw some data yesterday. It is true that Muslims are being killed. But the point is that those who kill those Christians are people who have the orientation and training of a Muslim man. Because most of if you see people who escape such killings, ask them, what were they saying? They either be saying Allahu Akbar. So there are people who have, I'm not saying that in
Islamic
Nigeria it is
extremists.
between Muslim and between, no, there are extremists in Christianity, but they don't take to violence. I don't know if you have spoken to some people, they make you feel like you won't make heaven in Christianity.
But they are not
if
violent.
If you are spoken to them, you can't make heaven. Even if you tell yourself, the way I speak, I'm not sure I will make heaven. They are extremists. They take everything to the extreme. Same way in Muslims. So you cannot say that some of these persons are not Muslim. They are Muslims. Yes, you can say they're extreme, but they are Muslims. They are not Christians. By their orientations, they are not. So America will do itself favor. Okay, now let me ask: why would America go and bomb? Well, you just bomb the place and then go back. So it's done. Is that all? No. You need to work not just with Nigeria. That time, this man established what you call the Multinational Joint Task Force, MTJT, around the Lake Chad, Niger, and all. It is the atrocities of America in Libya that gave rise to those guns. I was watching one military officer was saying they had advised Nigerian government to buy those weapons then and destroy. But the Nigerian government failed to buy those weapons in Iraq. Not to use them, but to destroy them. And we felt that we are wasting our money. But today, most of those weapons found themselves in Nigeria, in the wrong hands. Which is unfortunate. But all of that did not say that my destiny should be decided in Washington.
All right.
I refuse it.
All right, very well. Chizzy,
Yes.
what is your take on this?
Let me not go to the where Daniel. I think Daniel has done justice to certain, perspectives that I would have gone to. But we can't overemphasize the fact that U.S. is a sovereign nation, just like Nigeria is, and a sovereign nation is coming to tell another sovereign nation what to do in their country. And again, whether you like it or yes, we know that a lot of insecurity has happened in Nigeria, and that we have done, if not nothing, because it's been persisting. Like he said, the president went to a neighbor place and said the road is not, it's like I am the one to provide to give you road. I'm not saying the road is not good to get there. I mean, also indicting myself. I'm indicting government now. It is government that provide that infrastructure. You are saying that road is not good, so which means that those Nigerians that supply those roads should all go out of that village, isn't it? But you have a more sophisticated, the president can fly in there with
a helicopter. So why didn't he do that?
The president can go there with 60 helicopters and land there. Who else would have done that? Do you know that some president can go to, where is this Boko Haram, what's it called? Sambisa Forest. And land there. So that is not to say that we are doing enough. But my problem is, you don't expect disinterested help from the United States of America. No way. And this thing that you see happening in the United States of America is not about the Boko Haram or the insecurity per se. It's about the mineral resources being carted away by Chinese. They are not fighting us. They are not fighting us. Don't forget that pronouncement was made just after the president left the Chinese president. Now, instead of talking against the Chinese president, he now talked about Nigeria.
Now, if we were to look at that perspective, because I've been now, first of all, let's follow sequence of events in the world politics and in Nigeria. First off, this conversation started after a failed coup in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Now, that takes us to Mali and Burkina Faso,
where
we have successful coups with military governments. Now, who are the people sponsoring those coups, backing them? You have France, you have Russia, and some part of China. Now, fast forward to Nigeria. Recall the End Bad Governance protest in Nigeria, where in the north, reportedly, some northerners protesting, we are flying the Russian flag on Nigerian soil. Follow my thought. Now, moving forward, who are the people backing the African countries with successful coup? How is it that US, after that failed coup, came out to speak? And how is it that illegal mining is going on in the north, sponsored by China and some persons from Albania as well? And how come after the US made that statement, China came out to counter US? Now, anybody, for some people, they might think, oh, these two countries are interested in Nigeria. The foreign powers have waken up. But when you're following international politics, you know that this is centered around, right now, Nigeria, regardless of bad governance, has the richest deposit of solid minerals and even liquid minerals, as it were. We have the largest. And recall that US, on the other hand, is having issues with certain countries, which is also affecting, not forgetting UAE, Arab countries that have great deposits of oil. Now, their relationships are strained, and there is need to assess the oil in Nigeria. I mean, this might be a conspiracy theory, but then when you follow international politics, you see these things are interconnected. What do you think? Like you said this may not just be about humanity and trying to protect Christians. It might just be about mineral resources. The U.S. interest when they entered Libya was about the gold in Libya. And what is the state of Libya? Well, some Nigerians are saying that they really don't care about all of that, because in the first instance, they are not even enjoying the dividends of the mineral resources. So even if whoever takes over, Nigerians are still not, at a loss.
You see, that's the perspective I'm coming from. I want to bring out that perspective. You see, just check when the Boko Haram came on board. Check all of these, they graduated from Boko Haram to Hezmain and all of that. Look at the AK-45 that they hold, the gun, the ammunition that these so-called Hezmain, the ammunition they have. Who has supplied those? How did they get those
funds?
Now, how come that the NGOs of China and all of those people are in Sambisa forest? And nobody touches them, but our military will be killed.
Mining in Zamfara. The same state that the governor says that he knows the bandits, he knows where they are, he knows their community, but nothing can be done.
They have the conspirators, here. And it's been that way. See, the entire, these super economies, they sat down one day and began to share Africa into...
Now there is a struggle for the soul of Nigeria.
That's the struggle. And now you know what they want to do? As much as I agree that, of course, that the Christians are being killed, whether we like it or yes, of course, there are some modern Muslims are also being killed. In fact, if you notice, the first people they attacked were those who were speaking against them, including the Muslims, that they attacked. Now, look at what they have come to do. They have now risen naturally. Nations who speak about religion, they will say people in Nigeria are being killed. Now, you know what they want to do? They know that we are balkanized by ethnicity. They want to raise the most sensitive
aspect, which is religion,
and
then tag humanity to it and make it look humanitarian.
Make it look humanitarian. Yeah, they are actually coming to chase China. No wonder as soon as they said that, China responded, because China know that it was them, because China is funding the insecurity to continually mine those things illegally without giving our resources to the country, with the help of our locals, some of the politicians who allow them to do that. So I think that for me, this is a wake-up call for us to go back to our resources and defend our resources.
Do you see the government having the willpower? Because these things are about willpower.
Now, let me also bring
Is it not the same military that fought the Ekomog War? I can go on and on.
Let me say this.
Yes.
I'm an APC. Do you know all of these things? You see, there is this thing that people call a lot of karma. It is a lot of karma. These people sat down with the military, with the US, against Jonathan. And all manner of sponsorships started coming up on board, and now the same other people have gone back to this place to raise it. I can't just...
they sat with the US. No.
Which people?
Where?
There was a report in the US when Jonathan was in power.
The meeting was in Lagos, it was not in the US.
No, okay, I mean...
It was about election.
Thank you. So they had those meetings and began to report all manner of negativity about Nigeria, to weaken the government. Now we are
and put Jonathan
under
heavy
pressure. You know that part of these kidnappers or non-gunmen came in from Niger, and they came in because they thought that Jonathan was not going to hand over, and then as soon as Jonathan just left them, all of these things started happening. So we know that the government of Nigeria should wake up and secure our land. China and US should leave us alone.
All right.
We should leave us alone. But Nigeria, we can demand for this thing to be responsible enough. We are not. We're not doing anything in that regard. Like he said, even in the supply or the purchase of arms, he talked about the condition. I can tell you that even in Jonathan's period, it took Jonathan to go through certain other measures to get certain arms. He can't get it legally. Because why? Those that will give you those arms are interested in what is happening around there.
All right.
Mustafa opened up us to certain mineral resources that are around that place that is causing. So he can draw it back to from Abacha, why Abacha died and all of this. There is international conspiracy. They should leave us alone. US, thank you. Thank you.
All right.
We asked our president to wake up, but thank you. We don't want you.
All right. Thank you so much, Chizzy. It's a pleasure having you on Open Conversation
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you. And thank you so much, Daniel Momo.
Thank you for having me.
It's also a pleasure. Thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying connected to us. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. I remain Laurentia Ugu. Transition News comes up next. Do not go.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability